While it's been widely discussed that UFOs are of an alien nature, we are starting to realize that many of these may also be man-made.
The stuff I was working on wasn't classified. The programs that were monitoring were.
Unconventional and unacknowledged activities and science that are not supposed to exist.
It accelerated at about a 30-degree angle of attack and left him in the dust. I mean, boom, 8,000 to 10,000 miles an hour.
They looked like butterflies that were on fire. Well, when I played the footage back, there was a TR3B sitting there cloaked above that ship the entire time.
Why is it that if these are solid triangular craft, are we able to sometimes see stars through them?
You're going to have a militarization of space, like an arms race in space, and that's going to require a significant classified component. That is a secret space program.
We're dealing with something very close to alien technology, engineered down to the atomic level.
Something really odd is going on out there.
Well, hello there. Welcome to another exciting Paranormal Highway. These type of shows that I do right here is about learning about people, learning about objects, because there's something that I've learned to where I'm at now is you don't know everything. You don't know everything. But I want to learn something about everything. So, and I don't come to a show, and make up something and pretend that I know everything about it, because I just don't. By doing a show like this, what I'm hoping is people like yourself who's watching get to learn a little bit more something about the subject that I'm talking about. And what's going to happen is, guys, I'm bringing up Anthony from Unidentified S4.
Good afternoon. My name is Anthony Essenflair, host of Unidentified S4 YouTube channel. For the first time in more than 50 years, the U.S. Congress will hold open mic hearings on unidentified aerial phenomenon, also known as UAP.
Because what I'm about to talk about, he doesn't even know what I'm bringing up. I don't tell him, because I want to hear it raw, directly from him, where he doesn't even have a chance to study anything that I brought up. But the thing is, I know he knows about this. What I'm talking about is an object. The Black Triangle UFO, the TR3B. What is it? I mean, if you ask me, I seen one of the episodes of X-Files where Mulder goes through a fence, goes through the middle, and he sees the triangle above him, flashes lights and stuff. That's what I've seen. I'm sure most of you people have seen that too. What is it? What's the theory behind it? And there's a lot of different theories. This is why I'm excited to have Anthony kind of explain more, because I believe he has a sighting with one of these. Is it an alien ship? Is it a military top secret, jet? Or the other theory is, yes, it is military, but it was built on UFO alien technology that's crashed on Earth. And if you're one of those believers, like Roswell crash, the Mary Island incident crash, if you believe there have been crashes, well, those parts got to go somewhere. Got to go somewhere in somebody's garage. And trust me, if the military's got these crash sites, they're building stuff and trying to learn from it. So is the TR3 that? Or is it just some kind of a jet that we kind of I don't know, we image it to make a TR3B more than it is. I don't know. So this is so exciting to me to bring up Anthony about the TR3B, because Anthony, if I'm correct, for everybody like who's new here who don't know your story, no, none of that stuff, you have had an experience of seeing a triangle shape TR3B. Are the different names, or is it the black?
I mean, you have the TR3B, they have the Black Manta, they have Project Astra. There's a whole bunch of different names for it. I just call it the TR3B, or the triangular aircraft. That's what I've always called it, but there's a ton of names for it.
And then in your mind, because I believe you've seen one, correct?
Yeah, back in 1993. When I was out dirt bike riding, I had the privilege of seeing one, actually two, and losing 5 hours of missing time.
And what it's and people, that's a great story. But we're not here for exactly for that story. But going through what you've been through, because I'm sure because you had that incident where you saw this pyramid thing in the sky, you must have done research. I mean, it must, because it probably kills you to know what is it. I mean, with all the research that you have done yourself, because since you experienced one, what do you personally think it is? I know there's a politically correct answer is where people say it could be military and all that. I don't know, but what from the inside of you, what do you think it is?
I believe, well, this is the craft that we're talking about right here. We're talking about the classic TR3B, which is a thin triangular craft, okay? Ron from Cosmic Neighbors was kind enough to 3D print this exact model out of what I seen. So this craft here could either be a reverse engineered. First of all, you have the extraterrestrial version of this, okay? We have the United States Air Force's version of this. And then I believe that one of these crashed at some point. The Air Force got their hands on it, and they reversed engineered it using electrogravitic technology. Now, the craft that I seen, I do not think was our military's. I think it was extraterrestrial in origin, because the way everything happened, the way the second craft came off, it kind of peeled off the top. It was like attached to the top perfectly, where you couldn't see that it was two craft. It only appeared as one. But then it like peeled off like a piece of paper on a 45-degree angle, like you turn in a page out of a textbook, and they sat side by side and slowly rotated counterclockwise around each other. Because it did that, it made me believe that it was extraterrestrial in origin. And the government military ones, I don't think they have that sheet of black frosted glass on the undercarriage of it. I think that they have the one big red light in the middle and the three white lights on the edge, and that's where this is all outlined here for the lighting system on this thing. Another thing, I think the military's version of this makes sound, where you'll get like a low hum from the electrogravitic engines in the system. The one I seen made absolutely no sound. It was so eerie, in fact, that all the wildlife turned off. There was no sound, no more birds chirping, no more bees buzzing around. I mean, nothing. No, I didn't hear any cars, not even the wind blowing. It just went dead silent until that object flew up and disappeared. And then it's like everybody turned the sound back on. And I hear that time and time again. My friend Ron from Cosmic Neighbors, he had an incident with one of these huge black triangles. Same thing happened with the sound. Everything turned off. And when the craft passed him far enough, all the sound came back on. Same thing happened with Cheryl Costa, the UFO statistician. Same scenario. The craft flew over. There was no sound. Everything went dead silent. And when it got further enough away, it's like all the sound turned back on. So it's a strange phenomenon, and I pretty much immersed myself in it all these years. But I think that they are definitely extraterrestrial in origin. But don't get me wrong, I believe our government also has their reverse engineered model of it as well.
Well, yeah, they don't make one, they'll make two or three. It's kind of like watching the Armageddon. We don't take chance with one. We always make duplicates and stuff. I mean, it's
that would be the ultimate spy plane, Eric, because the cloaking capabilities on this thing. 1 second it's there in the sky, the next minute it's gone. From what I understand, the military's version of it, they've put some kind of TV screen technology on it where it'll show you the image from what. So in other words, on the top of the craft, they can have camera systems aiming up at the sky, and then on the undercarriage, whatever it's filming up above it, it will project it on the lower end. So it's filming the sky above it, it'll project that below it, so it looks like it's invisible, like it's cloaked as the sky. And that's amazing technology.
I'm Guy Kramer, President and CEO of Hyperstealth Biotechnology Corporation, and in 2010 I figured out invisibility. Quantum stealth is a patent-pending light-bending material that works by bending the light so that only the background is visible and a target, such as a person, is removed from view when behind this material.
And it really is, because there's a lot of articles. There's one article that's called Black Triangle UFO Sightings Around the Planet Span Decades. So this is not just, people. Listen, a common person going to say, well, they probably saw that on the X-Files and now everybody's seeing it. But you look at these articles, those shapes has been around for decades, not just from the 90s and above.
Way before that.
And of course people say, why is it all increasing now? Well, because there's more social media. It's easier to get out there to tell these stories. So
more people have a phone in their hand with a camera on it. That's easy tech now for everybody. Just pull your phone out and start recording. So now, you didn't have that back in the 80s and the 90s.
Here's a theory that somebody told me, that they felt because of that shape, that when whoever built the pyramids, because the pyramids is also a triangle. And some people say that Egypt, they were building the pyramids to mock the shape of that alien craft.
Those are two different craft, though. The triangular craft themselves, they actually look like giant pyramid structures flying in the sky. The TR3B is thin. The other craft flies like this, but it's three-dimensionally structured, like an actual pyramid. And the undercarriage of it is where all the lighting systems and engine systems or whatever are underneath there. There's been footage around the Pentagon of people that have actually filmed that craft hovering over the Pentagon. There's like 4 or 5 different angles from a bunch of different people. And then it was also seen over the Kremlin in Russia. So you'll have to look that footage up, but you can find it, or I can send it to you.
The Sun reported Friday a large, unidentified flying object hovering over Moscow's Kremlin. According to The Sun, witnesses said the pyramid-shaped object could be as big as a mile wide. And while Russian reports have ruled out UFO speculation, The Sun says the police have refused to comment and aerospace experts are stumped. This is Lauren McCaffrey for NYPost.com.
And I know there's some footage. People are saying they're seeing like a boomerang.
That's another.
And I'm always thinking, well, what if it is a full pyramid shape, but it's just the lights is only going up like a shape of a pyramid?
I actually have footage of the boomerang craft.
So I'm trying to, I try to think about it like we're not aliens. We don't know exactly why certain shapes are, but I'm trying to think what would be the purpose of the triangle shape, And I'm thinking to myself, what if, now you have a triangle shape? Is it because they can maneuver faster in each angle or something like choo choo? What's the theory behind the triangle shape? Like why?
There's no wing structure on the craft.
Yeah.
It's able to cut through the wind like an arrowhead. You know what I'm saying? It's perfectly dynamically shaped. The aerodynamics on this thing are just perfect. That's why I think this design is one of the best I've ever seen. Even like the disc type crafts, I would choose the triangular shape over the disc shape any day, to be honest with you. I just think that arrow shape's perfect.
That's amazing stuff. I mean, it is. It makes you think because more people are now that, there's more articles more than ever on the TR3B. Now I'm learning from you that, there's actually a pyramid type of shape that's maybe what the pyramids are more designed off of. And now you got the triangles. I wonder if the pyramid style is like the mothership and those fly off of that. Like
I actually believe that the pyramid craft itself actually docked and housed itself over the actual pyramids at one time. It's plausible that the pyramid itself could have been a docking station for that craft to land over, and then they could have went inside the pyramids and did whatever and then took back off. They had a base to land on, sort of.
This is Case to you.
I mean, it would make more sense on why they built in the first place. What, to put their dead in it? It's just
a lot of work to memorialize a dead person.
Exactly.
And there was a lot of kings and queens. I think we would have a lot more pyramids than just a handful. But that's just me. I'm not an Egyptologist, so I'm really not up to par on all of that. But I think you would have way more pyramids if you were memorializing kings and queens and using pyramids.
And I know there's going to be naysayers out there. Some people will say that, well, if the military was able to build this based on the alien technology, then they'll probably be using it. Well, the thing is, how do you know they probably are using it? If it's a top secret device to spy, you're not going to know about it.
We had the X-37B flying around in space for 2 years. It was flying around Earth. It was up there for 2 years, and nobody even knew it was up there. All the sky watchers, always with their telescopes watching. Nobody seen this thing, and you only found out that we had an unmanned craft in space flying around for 2 years straight. Nobody knew about it until they reported on it 2 years later. So it's very possible that things are up there that you have no idea about. If they want to keep it secret, they're going to keep it secret.
Did you know the U.S. Air Force has a mysterious space plane that just landed after a record number of days in orbit? The plane, which kind of looks like a small space shuttle, landed on Earth Sunday at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida after 780 days, more than 2 years in orbit. It's the longest mission in this highly secretive military test program's history. Now, according to the Air Force, the crewless plane was used for experiments that could then be brought back to Earth for examination. The exact details of those experiments, those are a closely guarded secret.
Wow, not secret anymore. I want to know more about it.
Exactly. Now I want to ask you, One last question, like maybe this is probably more of a personal question, but the spot that you seen it, do you once in a while go back to the exact same spot and look up and just like, I don't know, asking yourself, why did I see it? Was it meant for me? Was I just here at the right time, right place? Or when you go back and you said you made your head like you do go back.
Yeah, all the time.
What do you go through when you go back? I mean, what are you thinking?
Well, I now that I'm older, because it was 13 when it happened back in '93. Like, I'll go back to the same spot, although the woods have changed over the years. I'll go back and I'll look and I'll say to myself, how did nobody see this thing coming through the woods? You know, how was I the only one that seen this thing? Somebody else had to have seen that. It was massive, Eric. The craft was massive, and the second one was just as big as the first one. So it baffles me how nobody's seen that. So then I say to myself, was I really in the woods when that happened? Or was I taken and they projected in my mind that I was still in the woods? Because I don't know how I don't know, it doesn't make sense how nobody else seen that.
Well, technically, how do you know nobody else seen it? Not everybody.
Oh, I asked my neighbors.
You know,
I've asked friends that were in the woods with me. You just didn't see what I see. I mean, I asked a lot of people. I asked my parents because they were in the woods screaming my name, looking for me. How the hell they didn't see it baffles my mind.
It was almost like it was meant.
It really makes me think I was taken, and I just don't remember anything, man.
Well, there is a theory. There's actually another theory that people who have experienced abductions throughout their life, they'll see the shape of the UFO that took them in the first place. Kind of like, I don't know if they're looking in on them, but there's been stories that and only they are seeing it. Nobody else is. It's almost like, I don't know if they do something to you or not, but they put something in you that for only your eyes to see, nobody else. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, if you believe in an abduction, you get taken, then you have to believe the possibilities that they have the technology to do stuff to you, put stuff in you. Maybe it's one of those devices they put in that only for you to see them, because maybe that's a device that they use so they can travel throughout space and go to planets without, you know, here comes the U.S. jets, here comes the military trying to blow you down. They have the technology where they can't see it, because you said, and Ron, and you said another person who's seen it, the sound's not there.
Ron.
Now think about that. Not just the technology of this thing flying, but what kind of technology where animals just, do they feel it? Do they see it? Is it a being? What makes them shut up? Listen, sometimes I can't make my dog shut up.
I'm telling you, Eric, I don't think that animals and everything are actually shut up. I don't think the sound really turns off. I think you're just taken and they project whatever in your mind, and that's how you assume it's happening. That's what you assume is going on, because they projected in your mind that you're standing in the same spot, let's say, right? But you're not. You're on a craft. You're being studied.
Animals, it's
in your head, I think. I think they project that in your mind.
That
so you're focusing your attention on the craft that you're looking at, and why is there no sound? That's where all your attention's focused. So they put that mental block inside you, and that's all you're focusing on. And you're not understanding that at that time you're being taken, you're being studied, and then you put back. I mean, I know it sounds crazy.
No. Think about that kind of technology. If that technology, if the military had that technology, think about what they could use in a wartime, right? You do this thing where nobody can hear nothing. You can't hear people telling you what to do. All you do is hear silence, even though everything around you is still there. That would be some huge technology, because silence could drive you crazy.
And, you know, I know it sounds crazy, but Dr. Steven Greer, believe him or not, he actually said that the United States government had reverse engineered craft. And he also said that we make our own version of the gray aliens.
Back in the 50s, when we hit pay dirt, reverse engineering and studying so-called anti-gravity systems. That, by the way, was mastered in October 1954. Everybody remember that date, October 1954. So all internal combustion engines, surface roads, jets, rockets, public utilities, on and on, nuclear power plants, have not been needed since October 1954. Now that's hundreds of trillions of dollars.
They're like a very animatronic, robot-like species of these beings, but we have them. The government recreated them. Now, if you believe that, then you have to believe that there's a whole slew of technology that we don't know about, that the government has, that they're using not to advance the world, but to do harm with it. And it's possible.
I just want to say thank you for the added information, because this just helps. I mean, it really helps for different people. And I'll talk to you behind the scenes. I'm going to give my final thoughts. That's the main reason why I do these shows, to learn about the people, learn about objects. I mean, I just learned that people not just seeing the TR3B, there's a pyramid shape, and the silence. This is why we listen to these stories. This is why this is why we're here, because there's no way for any one of us to know everything, but we can know something about everything. And that's where you interview people, because, there's a difference of reading somebody's article that's writing an article off of somebody else's story or not. But when you hear it from the mouth themselves who have seen one, that's valuable, because it's not me taking his words and like, you know what, that's interesting, but I'm going to add a little bit more pizzazz to it. No, you heard it directly from him. And I hope all of you who are watching this learn something more about the TR3B. Is it reverse engineering technology, like you said? What's causing the silence? Where did this technology come from? Was it from these crashes, these UFO crashes? You hear about UFO crashes all the time. And if they crash, where are all these parts going? They're not in my garage. They're not in my backyard. You hear stories that military go out there, they swipe everything, and it's gone. And now with our own technology that gets better and better and better, maybe we're just scratching the surface of what they have. Because it doesn't mean that if they find something that they found a year ago, they're going to know how to use it. It might take years for our technology to get to the point where we can use it to learn even more about their craft. So it's just amazing. And I don't know if I should say I hope everybody has a chance to see one, because some of these stories that the people who've seen one, there's other things that has happened to them because they've seen one. So, but if you do see one, if you hear silence, you might have a load in your pants. I'm sorry, you might have a load in your pants, because something's happening at that moment in time. And I hope you guys are learning something watching this. And if you haven't subscribed to Paranormal Highway, Unidentified S4 channel, there's Cosmic Neighbors channels, you should, because we're trying to do live shows. We do clips. We do these kind of shows for education purposes. And the idea is to get the information out there more and more and more. Yes, you're going to have your naysayers. You're going to have your skeptics, but there's a skeptic for everything. All right. Listen, I can have an alien right next to me, and I bring it to somebody's house, and they're going to automatically say it's fake or real, even though that little ET made him fly in the sky, floating around. You're just going to have those people. But it doesn't mean you don't have to stop listening. Just keep listening. That's all I'm saying. Just keep listening. But I'll tell you what. I'll see you next time on the Paranormal Highway.